Hey there, this is Karen with Naturally with Karen, and this video today is to share with you about opiate addiction. Now, a lot of our people are facing opiate addiction, and if you have never had this experience before, I'm going to describe a little bit about what happens, what's it like, how to know, what to do, what kind of choices do you have. So come along and join me because I've actually lived through this for about 2 years with multiple people and had someone living with me for about 6 months who was using heroin and fentanyl. And I want to be able to share with you because this is something we need to take a really serious look at. We need to do something about it. We have been trained for 150 years to turn to a pill to solve our problems. Original medicine, which is what I do and was handed down by the grandmothers since 1965. And I'm going to put my bracelet on just to kind of show you my FU heroin. I've got a bruise here from taking the dogs out, but yeah, it's my FU heroin bracelet. Heroin and fentanyl are all over. People that are using them become something other than what you know them to be. They become different than their normal behavior. Okay? When people first use, it might be out of curiosity, but more often than not, in the original medicine handed down by the grandmothers, in which I expanded upon becoming an herbalist, massage therapist, and now have 35 years of working with people, coaching through a screen like we're doing right now on YouTube here. I'm able to see and hear, even when people only want to use the telephone, and work with them individually. What comes up the majority of the time for people with opiate addiction is that there was pain, right? There was either a physical pain in the body, but more often than not, there was a pain in the mind. Anxiety and depression, which is epidemic, pandemic, it's all over the world, just like our thyroid problems, just like our energy problems that we have. We know something's wrong. Our children know there's something wrong. Our siblings, our family members, our coworkers, we all know things aren't right. They don't look right. They don't smell right. They don't feel right. Now, doctors are to be respected. I love doctors, and some are much more open-minded than others. We also have, when it comes to opiate addiction, in addition to your PCP, your primary care physician, you probably have specialty doctors, like you may have an endocrinologist who tests your hormones, does a lot of testing to see how your hormones are functioning. You might have a doctor that is an oncologist because you may have cancer. A lot of people do. You may have been someone who, when you were very young, developed, rheumatoid arthritis, RA. Or you may have had a lot of ADHD and you just got really hooked onto using Adderall. In any event, the Western medical industry, which is known as allopathic medicine, has geared our people towards taking a pill to treat themselves and to fix it. Original medicine says, what's really behind it? And in order for me to know what's really behind it, what is the root, I need to listen carefully. I need to observe. What do I see with their eyes? Liver and spleen lines. Do I see liver spots on the body? What do I see with the lips and the mouth? Did they prematurely gray? How is their energy? Are they full of energy? Are they always tired? Right? How much are they using? So when it comes to working with someone who's got an opiate addiction, are they using a half a gram, 2 grams, 4 grams? What are they using exactly? Oxycodone, Vicodin? Are they snorting? Are they smoking on tinfoil? Are they an IV intravenous drug user using a needle? What's going on? We have so many people that are opiate addicted because of the pain of the psyche, because of the failure to address properly the anxiety and depression and the diminution of energy. And I want this video to be as helpful for you as possible, so I'm going to cover a few things. And maybe we'll make several segments on this video because I could probably do at least 12. And that way you have something for free from someone who's helped family members as well as clients and who just dug and dug and dug, which is what I do. Some people would respect me and call me a shaman. I did not drop $10,000 and fly off to one of these, performers who, are off country, right, out of the country, and get myself a certificate as a shamanic practitioner and kind of go out there and bleach my teeth white and pay a lot of money to get. I worked in the trenches with real people. I solved real problems. I solved them with myself, and many, many hundreds and hundreds with real people, often unpaid. Sensing people that I would connect with through social media, that I made nice connections with, that were Sangomas themselves. One of them is on a testimonial on my website, naturallywithkaren.com. But whether it's Africa or South America or America, the opiate addiction is real and it's palpable. Now when I drive down the street in my car in Duluth, Minnesota, St. Paul, or wherever it is, I can look and I can immediately tell what type of opiate someone may be on. It's very, very patently obvious. Okay? So in the traditional route, you would go to your primary care physician and I've got a problem, I'm overusing. And eventually, when the prescribed medications for some run out and there's no more access, the person starts to look to the streets, per se, to go out and get something that works. A lot of people are getting drugs from various parts of the internet, and they cycle them onto the streets, okay? They cut them and they make a huge amount of money. The problem with that is that it's injuring our people. It's costing our police, our city people, our roads, our businesses. Everyone is suffering because when a person does this type of a code or a drug is a code, right? It works on the brain on a very predictable way. And the thing with prescriptions, is that we allegedly know exactly what they're going to do to a person. But when you buy something on the street, you buy a little baggie of fentanyl or a little bit of heroin for 40, 60, 80, $100, depending on your habit or who you can source from, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if they've cut it with something that could be completely detrimental. And fentanyl, unlike heroin, will kill you in a heartbeat. In fact, if you don't have an opioid tolerance and you do fentanyl, whether it's even oxycodones that you buy on the internet that are interspersed with fentanyl because it's cheaper, you could absolutely fall over and die. I know of at least a dozen people who've gotten blue lips and completely fell over and were rushed to the hospital if they did not have Narcan, okay, and they had to be revived or they died of an overdose. One of the massage therapists that I go to was using 4 grams a day of heroin, and when he overdosed the 3rd time and he woke up, he thought it was raining, and it was in fact his father crying over him. And he said, I've got to do this. Unfortunately, some of these medications that are on the street and the cuts that are in them eventually start to erode away empathy, compassion, guilt, the normal things that those of us that never use those would find absolutely, appalling, that you wouldn't feel guilt that you left a mess all over the house or that you kept people awake all night or that, you took money out of someone's wallet, or that you picked up people's gift cards out of their house, or that you did any of these things because you begin to become very desensitized. These drugs, along with many other systems that we have, are creating us, they are causing us to almost become machine-like. That's why many of our diagnoses will be, something bipolar disorder, this disorder, mood disorder, right? It's almost like an out-of-order machine. The first thing I want to find out is what was happening before the person started using. And typically what I always hear is, I didn't have any energy. I didn't feel like I could keep going. There were times I was suicidal and nobody knew, or there were times I was suicidal and everyone knew around me. I'd left a suicide note. I'd intimated suicide. I was suicidal, ideal. I was idealizing suicide. And eventually, the people around this person, supporting this person, become completely worn out. So people have called me, what can I do? I found one gentleman by the name of Matt Finch, who's, after I searched and searched and searched and searched, what do you do about this? Do I do what I've always done with people with cancer, people with Parkinson's, people with lupus, people with thyroid, people with asthma? I mean, I know what to do about all those. But the opiates, they really threw me, because the person who's using had an insatiable drive to keep going back and keep using. And I found out through several clients and a couple of family members that when further testing was done through the doctor, because all the clinical signs were already there, but the person needed a confirmation, that in this case, in the last incident, the last person, the person actually was diagnosed hyperthyroid. Now, opiates will push the thyroid over further. Anything that you do to cause stress to your body, excuse me, I'm going to take a drink. Anything that you do that stresses your body is going to affect your thyroid, not just your thyroid. It's going to affect your brain, your eyesight, your skin. Okay, stress is lethal. We know it is. Most people that started opiates had energy leaks, had thyroid imbalance, had a poor diet, had poor habits, had poor self-esteem. They felt like they had no other choice. And, to be fair, the allopathic system has taught continuously that you can take a pill to solve many of your problems. And many of those pills do work, but we take far too many, far too often, without looking really at the root cause. So we have an individual issue to look at with opiates. We have a family issue to look at. We have a community issue, and we have a world issue, okay? So if you're watching this video and you want to learn about opiates, about opiate addiction and the problem of opiates today in the world, 2018, it's September 1st, 2018, the person comes home and their behaviors start to change. The affect starts to get much more flat, okay? Now, if their thyroid is functioning well at the time, and if they're just doing heroin or oxy or Vicodin, chances are they're going to look totally much more relaxed, much more, just kind of out of it, need to sleep a little bit more. If they're using fentanyl, it's almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The body starts to contort. Okay, I can't imitate it. I wish I could, but it's really something I've studied and meaning observed often. If they're snorting it, there's a lot of a lot of profuse sweating because the body can't handle it. The person starts to lose a lot of weight. They start to care less about their personal hygiene. They don't care about showering, brushing their teeth, where before maybe they were religious about it. They had to get up and brush their teeth in the morning. Now you don't see them wet their toothbrush for about a week. Okay? And day after day after day goes by, and they're not sleeping. They're staying up all night, kind of, gaming, scrolling on their phone, talking with people, whatever it is, right? Super hyper focused on something else. If you can reach the person and say, you can feel better, you can get rid of the anxiety and depression, and you can get more energy. But first we have to get you unleash from this demon. And I'm going to call opiates a demon because that's what I believe that they are. Had a lot of experience observing, hearing people's stories, sharing with them, living with it, and it's a demon. It's straight up a demon. Why would I say that? Because it takes over a person. It doesn't matter if you're their sister, your brother, their cousin, their mother, their father, your priest. Once this thing is inside of a person, it's almost like it takes over a host. Somebody's really kind of having fun today. So it's like it takes over a host. And when it does that, it no longer cares about the hygiene, about contributing, about any of those things. So you could say, God, you stink. And all you may get is, oh, you don't have to just cut me down. Right? You could lay subtle hints and they're not going to get picked up like they would an average person who's not using. In the middle of the night, because they lack energy so much, they're going to go for a quick glycemic hit. They're going to want your bready sandwiches, jelly, sugars. They're just going to feast on it because they went long periods without eating and now their body knows that they need food. Okay. Now we have centers up here in Duluth, the Center for Alcohol and Drug Treatment. You may not know these things and I want you to know them, so please keep listening. At 1402 Superior Street is the Center for Alcohol and Drug Treatment. Deb Olson will help you with a program called Pathfinders, even if you have medical assistance and you meet their criteria and you make the first step, which is to call for your loved one or for yourself. Get your insurance set up. So chances are you're probably not working because if you're opiate addicted and it's severe, there's no way you could hold down a job. Absolutely impossible. So make sure, step number 1, get your medical assistance set up. They have people that are called navigators in the state of Minnesota, and you can go to places like Community Action Duluth or meet up with one when they're at the library, the public library in Duluth, or other places in the Twin Cities, other places in Minnesota, other places in states where you live, because it's not just about Minnesota. This is all over. And they might be called a slightly different name, but call your county office and say, I've got to get someone on medical assistance right away. There's an opiate addiction problem and I need to get this. And the navigator in Minnesota is the one that's going to help you get it pronto. Even so, it takes just a little bit of time to get that paperwork processed. Find a program, if you're not in Duluth, that's like Pathfinders. They have beds, and it's a 3 to 5 day, 7 day max program where you lay down and they take care of you and you get through the withdrawal part, which is really gnarly if you've been using for a long time, because there's a lot of vomiting and diarrhea and aches and pains, and chances are you're going to want to run back out and use again. At Pathfinders, they will help you with that. There's another step that you can take, which is called Rule 25. Your insurance company, whether it's medical assistance or any other company, is going to want you to have a recommendation. So you go and you sit down with people, in this case at the Torrey building in Duluth, and you want to go before 8 o'clock in the morning because they're open between 8 and 12 Monday through Friday. And you can ask to be seen. They'll ask for your insurance, so you want to have that done, and tell them you need a Rule 25. They will write up a one-page report or more based on having just a discussion with you, sitting down, just you. And they'll ask you, how much are you using? What's going on? What do you think would be the best for you? And in the very beginning, you might just need pathfinders, and you might need, something like ClearPath. You might need a residential program for 28 days, which they call a high-intensity, men-only residential. And there's one at the CADT, the Center for Alcohol Drug Treatment. And there's also residential programs all over the state, in the Twin Cities and all over, in Grand Forks. So you have those options too. Now, so you get the Rule 25, and maybe you do Pathfinders and you get through the withdrawals, and you might decide to do MAT, which is medical assisted therapy. That means you're either going to use Suboxone or Methadone, which are opiate blockers, so that you won't use, and it'll kind of take the edge away. I see that as a good program. However, I hope that it's not used as a lifelong stay on Suboxone or Methadone. I would prefer to see that people can get healthy again and solve the underlying root problem instead of just going on to another drug, okay? But I understand the need and the use for it. So once you get your medical assistance set up, you get your Rule 25 done. Or if you're in an absolute crisis, you go to the public detox and you tell them it's opiates, and they will do your Rule 25 there. They will help you get everything set up, and they will eventually get you down to ClearPath so that you can dose on the Suboxone or the Subutex. Same kind of a thing, okay? They dose at ClearPath inside of the Center for Alcohol and Drug Treatment 6 days a week. And if you live in an outside area, like maybe you live up on the reservation at Fond du Lac, or you live in the outskirts, you don't have a car, you don't have someone to bring you, there's transportation like PFS and other private transportation companies that will be reimbursed by your insurance, even your medical assistance, that will drive you there and drive you home, okay? There's also another option I want to talk about, okay, and that's when I found Matt Finch that I recommended. And he talks about and has a lot of articles which he freely gives, and he has a course that you can take at home so you can learn for yourself called the Ultimate Opiate Detox 2.0. And sometimes you can catch the course on sale, but it's not that expensive. You have the videos, you can watch it with friends or whatever you need to do. Mom, you can buy the course so you know what to do. But it caused me to buy the passion flower capsules, the phenylalanine, the GABA, which I've been using for many, many years, and several other things because it lifts the depression, or what he calls PAWS, the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, PAWS. So Matt Finch, you can find him online and check out his course if you want to. Read his articles. There are ways that for many, many decades, people have detoxified themselves from heroin and use of opiates. You probably won't die from it. If you research, you'll find out that yes, you can detox from home. It'll just be messy. It'll be painful. It'll probably involve vomiting and diarrhea. It will. But it'll be worth it. Okay? So let's just say that you have a thyroid problem underneath your opiate addiction. You might want to figure all that out by going to your primary care doctor and getting a whole thyroid panel and a CBC, a complete blood count that shows white cell, a little bit of your liver and everything else, as well as a thyroid panel, or at least, at the very least, a TSH test, and see what the levels are. Because in order to really be successful from opiate addiction, first you got to kick that code or that drug to the curb, right? You got to get all your things lined up like I've talked about here. You've got to find the supplements that are going to support you until you get yourself back. You're going to get yourself back through original medicine, which is what I do for 34 years, not through just taking Suboxone the rest of your life. And I'm not putting anybody down who made that choice to do that, but maybe you have other choices. And maybe if you address potentially obesity, lack of energy, energy holes, anxiety and depression, thyroid problems, the need to detoxify, maybe you'll feel like, I would never touch opiates with a 10-foot pole again because now I feel so damn good. I want to get up and go enjoy my life. Okay? So I hope this video has been absolutely amazing for you. I invite you to drop me questions and I will do another video and answer them for you. I really invite you to share this video, to get on my email list at naturallywithkaren.com. Just click in your email. It'll give you $10 off a consultation with me. And I really genuinely help people to find the root when they use a doctor or when they don't use one at all. Okay? But you'd have to try it for yourself to understand a combination of being an herbalist, massage therapist, plant-based nutritionist, yoga instructor, someone who has really put in her whole life and has solved a lot of problems in the modern day world. So I wish you love. This wasn't absolutely everything about opiates, but it was a good start. And if you ask me to answer other questions, I'll do it in another video. All right, so long.